A United Nations official has criticised the government today for denying her access to a controversial immigration detention centre in Bedfordshire. Rashida Manju was in the UK last year to observe how we deal with issues of violence against women. She had concerns about treatment at Yarlswood, but says she was repeatedly denied access. It's led to further calls today for the whole system of detention to change. Sally Chidzoy reports.
Earlier this month, hundreds of protesters demonstrated outside Yarlswood Detention Centre in Bedfordshire. They branded it a prison and demanded its immediate closure, saying asylum seekers were not criminals. The removal centre can hold up to 400 women who are under threat of deportation. It's been plagued by allegations of poor treatment of detainees, claims going back years. This woman, who was tortured while working as a journalist in Ethiopia, has asked not to be identified. She says she was held there 3 times between 2004 and 2006.
When I was dehydrated, and then the detainee people want me to eat food, and they took me to dining room. They gave me soup to drink, and then at that moment I couldn't take it in because I didn't eat for 6 days. So I have to vomit, and the nurse came. He asked me why I was vomiting. He held my hand strongly. I was so weak. And he asked me why I was vomiting in the corridor. I should be vomiting in the toilet.
Last year, United Nations human rights expert Rashida Manju was in the UK hoping to visit Yarlswood. While on her mission to the UK, the Special Rapporteur at the UN said she'd made repeated requests to the UK government to be allowed into Yarlswood to see for herself the treatment of women detainees here, amid widespread allegations about emotional, physical and sexual abuse and claims of inadequate healthcare. She said each time she asked, she was denied access. The UN is worried about a raft of allegations at Yarlswood, claims of ill treatment and abuse, sexual activity between staff and detainees. There was a culture of bullying and intimidation, women being constantly monitored, no privacy or respect.
Amongst that population of women at Yarlswood, there will be torture survivors, because we know that survivors of torture are still being detained in the UK. Now, Freedom from Torture feels very strongly that torture survivors should not be detained under any circumstances. It's a very harmful experience for survivors of torture, as it can re-traumatise them.
A recent report by the Independent Monitoring Board said the centre was holding vulnerable women too long in conditions causing serious distress. The government say the UN request for access to Yarlswood came at too short notice. It and Serco, which runs Yarlswood, say they've commissioned their own independent reviews of the centre. Sally Chidzoy, BBC Look East, Bedfordshire.